Yo, welcome back guys to a video with some commentary. You got my opponent's on the right. I think he's playing like Horus, some kind of Horus deck. And then you got me on the left playing branded Chimera. I'm a big fan of that deck. Honestly, I haven't played it in a little bit. I've been playing purely, so bouncing back between purely and branded Chimera. I don't know which one I'm going to take to the YCS and Indy. I'll be going to that. I might just play a bunch of side events instead of the main event. Not too sure, but if you guys see me there, feel free, say hi. You see, during the draw phase, I got my branded opening impermed. Well, I summoned a Luber and it got impermed. So going to the main phase, I'm going to normal summon Sword Knight effect, summon Baphomet effect. He's gonna chain to the Sword Knight effect though. Whatever the Horus trap is that special summons once per chain. Baphomet effect resolves. So the Horus player, my opponent, obviously he didn't have a whole lot going for him on his turn. He just set 2 and then passed, and then even on my turn he summons like the worst Horus monster. So I don't imagine this is gonna be too terribly hard to break. My hand over there looks pretty solid. I think I have Gazelle. It looks like Gazelle, Ash, I think Cornfield, or Kodal. Gonna activate the Chimera Fusion. Chainlink 1 Gazelle. In one of the other videos, I kept calling Gazelle Chimera. That's definitely wrong, but Gazelle, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Baphomet, targeting Sword Knight, Chainlink 3, the Chimera Fusion monster on board. I do it that way so I chain block the other two effects. So searching Tau, summoning Sword Knight back, and then everything's gonna resolve. So since he's not chaining any of this stuff, I'm assuming he has no other Horus monsters in hand, and if that's the case, then I can also almost assume that he has either hand traps or just dead cards in his hand. So attacking over his monster and then attacking for 19 directly with Sword Knight. And I mean, I definitely have a fair amount of cards in hand, but there's not a whole lot else I'm gonna do. He crowed my Chimera Fusion, so I can't necessarily get that back. I'm gonna rip the talents out of his hand for turn, or for the end of the turn, and then he draws, sets. In his turn still, I'm gonna activate Sword Knight effect, Sword Knight summon Baphomet effect. Search 2 cards. He's gonna chain to one of those effects, summoning out his Horus monster again. Then I'm gonna draw for turn. Honestly, you guys hear me say it in other videos, people just need to learn how to scoop. Like, learn how to go to the next game. You're not gonna win them all, and that's okay. But you know, there's some things you can't control in this game, but what you can control is when you end the game. So like, what I mean by that is scooping up and going to the next game, conserving time. Like, I think I have like 7 cards in hand or so. This guy has 3 cards on board. Yeah, it's a rough situation for him, but anyways, gonna activate Poly, going into a Guardian Chimera, gonna pop 2 cards on his field. Pop 2, draw 1, Baphomet effect, summon back Sword Knight again. He's gonna call by the grave my Sword Knight. So draw 2, or draw 1, pop the other 2 cards on his field. He's gonna reset the trap. And I mean, right here, it might not be game immediately. Well, hell, it actually might be. But I'm gonna activate another Chimera Fusion, and he finally sees that, you know, there's no other way he can win this, so he's gonna scoop it up. We're gonna head right into the next game. Here we are, the start to game number 2. My hand, honestly, it's good, but it's not that great against this deck, depending on what end board he goes for. I have a Veiler and an Imperm in hand, and sometimes if they're going for just like the straight up Horus lines, like they just want to summon 4 Horus monsters on board, then I don't think Veiler especially is not the best cards to, you know, have in your hand against that board. But If he goes for like a zombie vampire line or like a coach king bear, the thing that draws 3, then Imperm and Veiler become a lot better. So Mseti, discard the Gizmek, search King Sark, draw a card. I didn't see what the other card in his graveyard was, but he summons Happy, summons Mseti. He's going to use King Sark effect again, sending the water Horus monster, and then summoning it. He's going to activate Gizmek effect, banish, I believe it's 8 cards. I think banish 8 face down. Summon itself. He's going to use that and the water Horus monster going into a zombie vampire line. Now, this is where in my opinion, I should have, well, I guess I could have used the Veiler in hand instead of the Imperm, but I'm sure I was probably saving the Veiler for like a Guardian Chimera line. Just reading the King Sark right here. I know it has a protection effect. Well, it protects monsters. I believe it's like Horus monsters are unaffected by card effects that don't target. And then Zombie Vampire also has like one of those weird protection effects. I think it's unaffected. It might be unaffected from monster effects, except those that are summoned from grave. It's something really weird, but pretty unique to itself. I'm gonna activate Kodal, and then just thinking what I want here. So gonna add Sword Knight. Looks like I have a Gazelle in hand already. So I realistically have 2 different normal summons in hand. I have Sword Knight, but I also have a Fallen of Albaz. Fallen of Albaz could go into a Mirror Jade. The only problem is that on the resolution of it, he would get to add 2 cards from his graveyard or banish to his hand. And he would be able to send my Mirror Jade, which sending my Mirror Jade's fine, but him adding 2 banish cards to hand is what really sucks. So instead, honestly, this line's pretty solid. I'm not even gonna lie, this thing's kind of nice. But Fallen of Albaz is gonna use his Happy, because I think it's a Beast Warrior, and go into Rimbrum, and then Mseti effect is gonna send the Rimbrum. So it doesn't, as far as I know, he doesn't really have any interruptions left. He has 1 card in hand. I don't think I know it at all, but I have 3, and I'm going to use Chimera Fusion using the last 2 cards in my hand, which is Baphomet and Sword Knight, to go into the Chimera Fusion monster. And then on a new chain, it's going to be Chainlink 1, Baphomet, target Sword Knight, Chainlink 2, Chimera monster to rip that last card out of his hand. And it's going to be a Bell. So, not too sure why oh, I think everything resolved. Okay, so I summoned the Sword Knight, obviously. And then, I think I used Chimera Fusion and Grave effect to add back to hand, and I think he belled it. I think that's what it was. Or maybe there's a little bit of confusion here, because it looks like I'm explaining a bunch of stuff to him. Either way, I have a Baphomet on board now, and I'm going to use Chimera Fusion again. So Chainlink 1, Guardian Chimera, and then Chainlink 2 is going to be the Gazelle. And he's just reading my cards, seeing what they do. So it looks like I don't really have too much on board right now. All I have is Guardian Chimera, but I have a lot of follow-up in Grave, which is really good, and I have a Tau in hand, which is even better. Because in Grave I have Rimbrum effect, and I can either summon Rimbrum, or I can summon Fallen of Albaz, send Tau, and then fusion off of that. But I also have the Chimera Fusion monster, that can banish itself and then summon 1 from Grave. So I definitely have a lot of options here. So activating the zombie vampire effect, we're both gonna mill 4. I'm not milling anything that's worthwhile. He's gonna summon an alpha. And bouncing my guardian chimera, it doesn't target. As far as I don't believe it targets. And bouncing itself. And he's gonna activate a Rochi effect. Banishing another 8. Summoning itself. So right here, I'm gonna take a lot of damage, but I'm not gonna activate the... So it's King of the Phantom Beasts. I'm not gonna activate the effect to banish itself to summon because I want the body on board and I want to keep the body. So it looks like it's gonna pass over to me. And then Chimera Fusion effects, add it back to hand. Normal summon Gazelle, Gazelle effect. I think both of my Barefoots are engraved, so the only thing I can really grab here is a Chimera Fusion. Which is fine. I mean, as long as I have those in rotation somewhere, whether it be my hand, deck, or graveyard, just don't want them banished. So it looks like a bunch of things going down right now. I think I destroyed the zombie vampire with my guardian chimera, and I'm checking right now. I'm looking up the effect of zombie vampire to make sure that was legal, and it just says zombie vampire. Neither player can target this card with effects of special summon monsters, except those special summoned from grave. So since Guardian Chimera does not target, it sounds like that was it was a legal play. You can do that. So just making sure I'm not cheating, you know? Which I do remember this game now, and I believe when I made King of the Phantom Beasts, the fusion, I think I used an illusion and like some other beast or something. Basically, I don't think I used the right materials for it, and I realized it a little bit later on in this match, like sometime around here, and that's why I haven't used the graveyard effect yet to summon back, because I'm essentially pretending like it's not even there, because I don't want to use resources that shouldn't be there. But that's why you're not going to see me use that for the rest of the game, which in my mind, if it was unwinnable, then I would have just scooped it up, gone to game 3. But I feel like here I can still win this game. So right here, what I'm checking for is just seeing if I have another Guardian Chimera, or seeing like what I've used in the extra deck. So I'm gonna go into another Guardian Chimera, use the effect. I believe I'm gonna draw 1, pop 2. So popping the Orochi, popping the Alpha. He's got 1 card in hand. I have Ash Blossom, Codal, I think Dark Ruler, now Imperm. He's going to set his trap, pass over to me. I draw Imperm, attack directly with the Guardian Chimera. I'm going to set the Imperm in his traps column. He's going to normal summon Ash, crash right into it. I'm going to Imperm it. And that's going to be game. Broken. Imperming the Ash. Insane. Alright guys, appreciate you for sticking to the end. That was a fairly quick one. So, see you in the next one. Peace.